and I became the vice president of the company. And if you can see this bottle of Lambrusco, that's quite a story. We're going to have a little segment on that. It'll take long to explain it. And so what happened with Banfi Product Corporation, we became Villa Banfi, and also became, because of me, I know it sounds very presumptuous to say this, it's one of the biggest companies in New York as an importer. And the reason for it is because of this, Lambrusco Riuniti. Riuniti on ice, that's an ice. That's my jingle. You must be curious about this story. You couldn't give this away in 1969. Believe me, you couldn't give it away because nobody knew what this tasted like. Now, how is that different from any other bottle? Well, first of all, you see, this is rather cold. It's been on ice, so to speak, in the refrigerator. The wine is a red wine. Do you put red wines in refrigerators? You do if it's this, because this wine is frizzante. In other words, when you open it up, it has a little bit of sparkle to it. It's not dry. They do make it dry tight, but it's maybe 10% of Lambrusco, even less, I'd say, is dry. Most of it is sweet, or amabile. Now, you could say semi-dry. I prefer to say semi-sweet. And this particular wine are for people that don't like wine, in any age. But where did we make our little fortune? When I say we, Banfi Price Corporation, we made our fortune from the young people. Because if you give a red, dry wine to a young person, 13, 14, 15, whatever age you want to start at, they're going to say, I don't like this wine, it's dry, it's awful. Anyway, the Lambrusco was right up their alley. Of course, when we started, there was screw tops. I mean, not screw tops, I'm sorry. We had very thick corks, okay, and very thick glass to hold the effervescence in. And it took 3 years to go on to screw tops. And of course, that was the important thing with the young people. They weren't interested in breaking their cork puller, because that's what happened, by the way, in many, many places. And so all you have to do with a screw top is just open it up, right? And the young people, they loved it. They loved it to the tune of 13.5 million cases from ground zero, so to speak, which I'll tell you the story. We couldn't give this away. And of course, that made Banfi Products Corporation, otherwise known as Villa Banfi, very rich. They made so much money that what happened is they bought up half of Italy. I'm being sarcastic, of course. They bought a lot of property in Montalcino, and they bought property all over the place. And they built a fantastic winery. They had a helicopter. They had all sorts of stuff. And then after the 13.5 million cases, you know, this was in its heyday in the early 80s. What happened to Italy? There was a scandal, a second scandal. The first one was 1960, where they were making wines with pig's blood and stuff like that, and that wasn't so bad because nobody died. But in the 80s, there was a very big scandal, methanol, where they were putting in the wine, and the sale of 13.5 million cases went down to you wouldn't believe. Today, in the year 2003, they sell, when I say they, I'm talking about Villa Banfi, they sell less than 500,000 cases. The Lambrusco market is less than 1 million cases. And in the 70s and 80s, the Lambrusco market was over 20 million cases. It overtook Chianti years and years and years ago. Now, Chianti has gotten back its #1 status as the most sold wine, you know. And it's interesting to say that. So anyway, I was with Banfi from 1976 to sorry, 1967, got it mixed up, to 1974. And then what happened in 1974,